What is up, Cougar Central? Gall dang, we are so happy to be back with y'all again. Um, Actually, some crazy stuff to talk about today. Specifically, as this episode comes out tomorrow, the things we're talking about the day before as we're recording this, some big announcements just made, and we're here to fill you all in on what's going on, to talk about a little bit, get some stuff figured out. I'm your host, Parker Glenn, with my co-host, Connor Thompson. We are just super stoked to be here with y'all today. Thank you all for watching us on Instagram, on YouTube, any platform you find us on. We appreciate the support. We love Cougar Nation. But to start us out, since we've last talked, Jaxon Kohler has had a verbal commitment to BYU basketball. Connor, you want to walk us through on that?
Yeah, so I was super excited about that because I was like, hey, we got the center that we needed. He was their number one guy that they wanted to. So it's basically like they got their number one guy, even though it took so long. But all of this is kind of in question now because of the Big 12 news that just dropped. I'll have Parker explain that because the SEC they were the first ones to start it. Big 10 agreed to it. Now it's the Big 12, and the ACC is going to release a statement tomorrow.
Well, it's interesting. So I got a lot of great stuff on this. Yeah, like you said, Connor, absolutely insane. So it actually started out with the Big 10. So Big 10 puts out a statement, says, hey, if you've declared for an NFL draft, you cannot come back and play for the Big 10. And this rule is independent of NCAA eligibility. So it's like, okay, that's interesting. But it was specifically only for football. Then not too long after, the SEC comes out with a statement and says, hey, we're not only going to allow, we're disregarding NFL, NBA is included in that as well. Any professional sports draft. So now they're just taking it, not just football, but to the entire sports world, which is a huge statement, especially from the SEC. And that gets really interesting for me to look at because LSU has been going after gung-ho Xavier Harris, former Ole Miss player who played under Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. He's trying to bring him over to LSU, as well as a pass rusher from Notre Dame. And so that's shocking. And apparently the rumor out here actually is that Lane Kiffin brought this up, this idea that, hey, if the Big Ten is going to do it, then we should do it as well, which is crazy because he's the one trying to pull these guys in. But when the SEC voted on that measure, it was unanimous by all teams, which I think is
And
really quite
LSU
amazing.
didn't vote in it, though.
Yes, that is the one thing. So it's like unanimous / we didn't want to participate. So that's where, who knows? We're just going to have to wait till the pressers come out here in the next little bit and get some more information there. But then today, just less than an hour ago as we're recording this, Big 12 comes out with a statement saying, hey, guess what? We're going to do the same thing. No professional. If you declare for a professional draft, you don't get to come back. And again, this rule is independent of the NCAA eligibility. So now, because the reason when I looked at it, I was like, okay, that's interesting. The Big 10 did it, the SEC did it, and the Big 12 kind of waited for a minute. Because I was like, okay, yeah, you have Jaxon Kohler come to BYU. You got a couple other guys that Big 12 teams are looking at. Is the Big 12 going to make a statement on this? Because the biggest issue I see with it is like, okay, if you make a statement, but the law says something else, at the end of the day, the law stands. And so it's like, you don't want to come out and say, okay, here's what we're doing, but then get kind of shot in the foot and say, well, we're going to allow some players. You can't have this double standard going on. Either you're going to be in line or you're not. So I think all across, all the teams are making a bold statement saying, nope, this isn't right, and we're going to fight against it. And even Notre Dame's spokespeople today issued a statement saying that they, in addition to the SEC and Big Ten, they would make a statement separately coming out here in the next little bit that they will also follow those rules. But like we talked about this, what was it, 2 weeks ago now, about the courts and all this different kind of drama. As much as I want Jaxon Kohler to come to BYU, and I got so excited when I saw that news, I was like, yes, finally, like we got our guy, it's all good. I have to say, I think what the conferences are doing is right. And I hate to say that because, if for some other reason that doesn't happen, we get Jaxon Kohler, great benefit, but it's like, there's something in my gut that just says, yeah, that's right.
Here's the thing, though. He still could be eligible because so what the requirements are is that, let me pull it up real quick. So they have the same requirements basically as the SEC. So it's like you can't play for a professional team, you can't sign a contract, and you couldn't have been listed on the roster. And so with Jaxon Kohler, it's super murky because he never signed a contract with the Jazz to play in the summer league. He never signed the Exhibit 10 contract, and then he never um, declared for the draft to go to it because he was automatically eligible as a senior. So he didn't declare for the draft. And then also it states a NBA team or a G League team, and he played for a summer league team. So it gets super murky. But if they're sticking to those rules exactly as they're stated, he's still eligible to play, which is kind of crazy. But that's what it is right now. So there's a couple targets specifically in the SEC where it's like they can't play now after this unless schools just want to take the penalty, which is like the coach is suspended for the half of the season, they get funding dropped. Um, but yeah, a lot of SEC players are targeted by this, but for Jaxon Kohler, it's super murky. And then it's the same thing for Kentucky's guy that they just got.
Yeah.
It was basically the same situation as Jaxon Kohler.
Yeah, it's definitely insane because he is in that really weird spot right now where it's like he's played for a professional team. Like the Summer League team, NBA Summer League is a professional team, right? But like you said, didn't sign a contract. He's not on the official roster, so it's like, what does that look like? Because here's where I get scared is that if they say, oh, we're going to make an exception, then who else is going to make an exception at the end of the day? But I think what they got to do, and I think you're right, Connor, the rules are stated this specific way, and I think they stick to those rules, and I think it's intentional. I think the Big 12 purposefully waited to put out their statement because they want to make sure that what they said went. Like, this is the final ends, but if you can find a way around it, we're not going to shut you down, but here's what the dealio is. And I hope it's enforced like that. I really do, and it should be. Um, but I think overall for the NCAA as a whole, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's skeet shooting, for heaven's sakes, I mean, like the fact that they're putting this out there is good. I think it's going to bring a lot of clarity. Again, I think there needs to be something by the NCAA at this point. Now all the conferences are saying it. I think the NCAA is going to be forced now in the next little bit to look at and say, okay, do we make an official rule on this? Because it's because the NCAA were here in the first spot, for good and for bad, and for frankly for what we don't know, because we haven't seen this upcoming season yet. And that's it. There's just a whole lot of unknown. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. And um honestly, like I was chill before the conferences announced it because I was like, hey, if everyone's getting a fifth year, why not give the people that were playing in their senior year another year when it was announced? So I mean, like I can understand it. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I can see where it's coming from. But yeah, there's there's gonna be some players that are looking for some loopholes in this, and Jaxon Kohler, as of now, it sounds like he's still eligible and he might be able to scoot by with it. And honestly, I kind of hope it happens because right now, in my opinion, BYU basketball is a fringe top 25 team. I think with Jaxon Kohler, they're a top 15 team. They won't be ranked that in the beginning of the season, even if they have him. But I
Yeah.
think their talent and team chemistry wise, they'd be a top 15 team in college basketball.
Yeah, I agree. Because I know a couple days ago we looked at a couple of those like way too early top 25 predictions, and they had BYU at 26, 27, and the teams they had above BYU, I was like, huh? I'm like, I guess if you're looking at a recruiting class, like if you're looking conference, if you're looking schedule, I'm like maybe. Um, but I think there can be no doubt that if Jaxon Kohler comes into the program, like you said, it catapults them where they really should be considered a top 15 team, but they will at the least be in that top 25 talks as well. And the reason Jaxon Kohler just really fits the bill really well. He's big and he's aggressive. He's what I like about Keba Keita, but he's a lot more refined, especially being in there under Coach Izzo's influence in Michigan State. And it showed really clearly in his college playing. And even he balled out in the summer league, had a great time.
Well, him and Kava are completely different. Like Kava's a lob threat. Kohler, he's not getting up there. He's he's gonna be a pick and roll guy that can shoot the three too. So,
But he can if he wants to, and he's shown it. He can do it. It's not the play style, but he can if he wants to. And I think under this, just under who we have currently, I think he would run it like that. I actually think that's how they would run him in that offense.
no, it's gonna be a full pick and roll. That's why they brought in Jakob Urbaniak too.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a pick and roll system with Robert Wright, and that's why they got so many shooters too. Because last year it was kind of just AJ do your thing in isolation, and Rob Wright do your thing in isolation, and it didn't work out as well as they wanted it to. I think it's going to be a completely different offense that we're seeing, where it's a lot of pick and roll, and pop it out to the corner for a three.
It's just whether or not we see it's whether
Jaxon,
we see it or not.
Jaxon Kohler, like if they do what you're saying and they try and use him as a lob threat, it's gonna fail. Like he's not that type of player whatsoever. He can get rebounds for his size, but like doing what Kaba can, Kaba's an athletic freak, and that's why it worked. Jaxon Kohler's not that guy, but he's a better basketball player than Kaba. He's just not as athletic.
He's more refined. I think that's a very safe thing to say about him. Because I mean, that's you look at Michigan State, the way they run the game, it's a very refined, very methodical kind of process in a lot of ways. So I think, however, if we get to see him, we'll just have to wait and find out. But I think you might be on the right track there, the pick and roll. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I could see it going the other way too, and it'd be really fun. It'd be really fun. Is it gonna happen? Probably not.
It'd be fun. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Fun. Probably not. But if it does, it'd be really fun to watch. And if it works, then it's fun. That's those two things. That's the biggest part of it. But yeah, no, I think definitely. Regardless, him being on the roster would be an amazing thing for BYU basketball, and we're just gonna have to wait and see because we don't know yet, and time will tell. And that's all we got right now. I don't have anything else to say about that unless you got something, Connor.
No, but basketball wise, I do. Recently, AJ Williams, who is he's a top 4 recruit right now for the next incoming class, number 4 specifically. He narrowed down his top 5 schools, and it's down to BYU, Duke, North Carolina, Arkansas, and Georgia. And right now, BYU is rumored to be the front runner because of what they've done with Yegor Dioman, AJ DeBonsta, and then they're also going to have Bruce Branch. So AJ Williams is heavily considering BYU right now, and that would be the 4th year. If they get him, that'd be the 4th year in a row where they're bringing in a 5-star prospect as an incoming freshman, which had never happened before the Kevin Young era.
Absolutely insane. I mean, just proof in the pudding. KY gets the job done, and he develops players. He develops ballers. Absolute flipping ballers, man. Yeah, honestly, as I think about those schools and I look at everything going down, I mean, yes, if you play for Duke, you're playing for a long history. You're playing for the name. You're playing for Duke, right? It's cool. Don't get me wrong. But I think there's just something different. I think what sets the BYU basketball program apart from any other basketball program is that NBA preparation. And now, of course, Duke is kind of the exception there, right? But even that put aside, I think it's showing, and I think, at least I'm really hoping he takes the chance. I mean, I would at this point. I don't really see a reason to go for the other teams. If what you're trying to do is become an NBA top prospect. a really good spot to come this year.
Yeah. And it's still just so crazy to me that BYU is beating out teams like Duke and North Carolina now in recruiting, and then even Arkansas because you have John Calipari over there. So he's a historic head coach. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just crazy because I've been watching BYU since I was a little kid that they're now in these conversations with the top programs in college basketball, fighting for these recruits and getting them.
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, just even the last 20 years of BYU sports in general. I mean, like, what a switch around. Number one, coming to the Big 12 and then just coaching as well. I mean, like, it's insane. It's really cool to watch. So that's exciting. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that all works out really well. It'd be really great. And then finishing up here today, Connor, you want to walk us through um, top 5 picks right now for Bear Bachmeier in training camp? Top 5 targets, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mind blanked. I was like, what are they called? They're called targets.
Yeah.
Walk us through that.
So so Fesi Sataki's the wide receiver coach for BYU. He specifically pointed out 5 players that are getting the most reps with Bear. Um, so he said the top 5 are JoJo Phillips, Kyle Casper, Legend Glasker, Reggie Frischnecht, and Tiger Bachmeier. So out of those 5, 2 of them are true freshmen, Legend and Reggie. And then Tiger Bachmeier will be a senior. JoJo Phillips will be a senior, and Kyle Casper, I believe, will be a junior. He's a transfer. So, those are the top 5 right now, specifically that he pointed out. So, I would expect going into the season that you'll see JoJo Phillips and Kyle Casper as the 1 and 2. Um, and I believe, in my mind, they're kind of interchangeable. JoJo might have the slight edge at number 1, but I think it could go either way. And then what it's kind of look like right now, it looks like Legend Glasker will be the 3rd guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the beginning of the season they have Tiger Bachmeier as that guy, just because he's a senior, and then as the season goes on, Legend steps into that number 3 wide receiver spot. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's who we pointed out specifically right now.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Like we kind of talked about this last week as well, as far as the receiving core. JoJo Phillips is kind of the setup wide receiver 1, just because he knows the schematic, he knows the team, he knows the plays. So it's like you almost just have to. Now it gives a great opportunity for these other receivers where if they start balling out, it can be very interchangeable, like you said. But yeah, I think you're right, especially with like Tiger Bachmeier being at the 3. Again, just familiarity with the offensive scheme. But again, I think that's also going to be subject to change as we start to see, Casper and the freshmen, just kind of what happens. What do they do? I really like Glaskers. I've watched some of his highlights, the little things here and there. I'm like, I really like what he's doing, and I'm excited to see. I'm hoping he has a breakout season right here. I'm really hoping that he just balls out, as we do for all of them, obviously. Um, I know we talked about maybe also like Nakua looked like he might be at that wide receiver 3 position. Obviously, he's not in those top 5 picks right now, just because it'd be cool, just because the name at the university. But I think just time's gonna tell. Honestly, though, I think that makes sense. No surprises there in my mind, honestly.
Yeah, and then even with the players, you already have a couple legacy names in there, like Legend Glasker's Isaiah Glasker's brother.
Yep.
Reggie, his sister's on the BYU women's soccer team. The Nakuas, I believe you still have Kafusis on the team too. So there's quite a few legacy names
Well,
still on
and
the team, which is fun.
even with Tiger Bachmeier, it's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Like, it's a pretty cool thing to, play with your brother over at a university. Your brother star quarterback, and you get to be on a receiving core there. Come on, it's just cool. It's just
Yeah.
cool. No matter where it happens, what happens to it, right? It's like the fact that it happened is what makes it cool.
Yep. So yeah, expect those five guys to get a lot of reps at the wide receiver spot. And then, like I said last week too, I expect a lot of passes to be going to the tight ends too. The tight ends are very, very involved on this team.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like especially like there's a lot of opportunity for growth, and if it stays kind of where it's at, that like you said, that tight end core is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, also, it's funny. Like the other day, I was looking. LJ Martin is considered one of the top 5 players in the NCAA.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, no matter what happens, no matter how that scheme is run, it's going to be good at the end of the day. But I like that we're starting to get into that mode now where it's like, okay, who do we like? Where's the connections? And just so we know as we're watching the games to kind of point out, from our end, what's going well, what's not going well, which not really our job, but it's always fun, right?
Yeah. And it's looking super promising too as we get closer every week to the start of the season because reports are that Bear Bachmeier looks way better than last year because now he actually has a lot of time to do the whole offense, develop. So, yeah, reports have been on him that he's almost a completely different player, that he's developed a ton. And yeah, then you have LJ Martin too. This team is going to be really, really good. And we just hope that no injuries take them out because we've seen that happen on both sides. But even basketball last year, injuries are a killer. So you just hope that doesn't happen because they're looking really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Especially, I think the way they'll play this year with the team they have is going to be a lot more balanced in a lot of ways. And I love that consistency. That's a huge part of college football, like especially in the Big 12, where you're playing against so many competitive teams, um, like Texas Tech, where it's just absolutely nuts. Is be able to have consistency across the board to know what you're doing, and that connection. Overall, I think just between football and basketball, team chemistry is looking really good this year for both teams, and that makes me really happy. We love to see that.
Yeah.
So I think that's all we got for y'all this week. Lots of exciting things, lots of crazy things. We'll keep y'all updated as we get more updates as far as, what do all these new changes in NCAA sports, how does that apply over to BYU? Because we just don't know right yet. We don't know now. But we're excited to watch it all go down. We're excited for some great seasons. Like I said, school's starting back up here really, really soon. We got just a little over a week. So it's like, we're right there. It's exciting to watch. Thank you all for watching. We love y'all so much. We love Cougar Nation. What can we say other than go Cougs? Woo!